Hi, good evening. Welcome to the Poorna Wellbeing Chetanaa session. And today's theme is the masks we wear. Well, I am not talking about the mask we wear when we are playing a theatrical act. I am not even talking about the mask we are wearing in this pandemic. I'm talking about a metaphor. I'm talking about metaphorically the mask we wear in our daily life, which does not enable us to meet, to see our true self. I'm not sure if many of you have even thought about it or you know about this concept, but I thought that I'll bring this topic here today so that we have an opportunity to discuss about your own well-being and masks being one very important aspects of our life. So imagine a time when, hi Sarita, um, Sarita, this is your gift to me. So imagine a time when we are wearing masks all the time. Imagine if this is there all the time. When we are playing, when we are waking up, when we are sleeping, when we are brushing, when we are bathing, when we are romancing. Isn't it suffocating? I mean, I can't even imagine doing that. It must be so tiring, isn't it? So that's what happens when we wear a psychological mask all the time. It's very suffocating because it is not our truth. When I'm wearing this mask is not my truth. It's only an aid, and we have the consciousness that we have to remove it off when we don't have to use it. But the psychological mask we wear is actually always there, and because we don't realize it, we never remove it off. So if you go to a performance, a theater performance, what happens? They wear the mask and they embody the character. They become the character, they become the feelings of the character, and when the character is off, they remove the mask. So can we look at our life also like that? What are masks really? Let me give you an example. When I was a child, I was a very carefree child, happy-go-lucky, all the time laughing that too loudly. I never had a measure of itna hi hasna hai, whatever. I would be outgoing, I would be gregarious, I would be big. But the culture that I was born in, a Brahminical culture, the culture had defined rules of how a girl can be. Now, if I have to be accepted in the culture, either in my family, then I have to accept the rules of the culture. So if my culture says that girls are supposed to be this way, and if I am a person who wants love from the culture and from the family members, I obey it. By obeying it, what happens? I don't laugh as much. I become that girl that the culture wants me to be or what my parents want me to be. And with the result, the person that I was born, the person who I actually am, I'm lost. So what are we really doing? The person who I am is inside, and I'm wearing a mask of being an obedient person, but I have hidden behind the mask. Yeah. So, was I born with it? No, of course not. I was not born with a mask. None of us are born with a mask. We take a mask because we want acceptance, we want love, we want security, we want to belong to a culture, we want to belong to a family, we want to belong to a tribe, to a group. And imagine when we are so young, we are a child, we want love, we deserve love at that time. So whatever we see that's the norm, we tend to accept it. We don't think. Much later, when we become an adult, do we really think that when if you see any adolescent, like my son is an adolescent now, he's telling me, Amma, you pray, you light the lamp, that's yours, let me figure out whether I want to do it or not. And sure, what he's saying is, I'm not willing to put on a mask because that This is not me. He's saying that actually. But and when I was growing up, I could never say that. So I wanted belongingness, I wanted society. So I put on a mask. But at the cost of what? We put on masks at the cost of losing, being in touch with who we really are. And we don't put only one mask, we put layers on layers on layers on layers. How does it happen? You go back to your childhood. As I'm speaking, you go back to your own life. I want to cry, but instead I smile. I want to be very angry, but anger is not acceptable in my family. If I'm angry, people will get irritated with me. So what do? I act amused, or I shrug my shoulder, or I feel sad. When you feel sad, it is basically you're angry, but you can't lash it out, so you turn anger inward, and that is sadness. But actually, you want to be angry. And as we grow up, we display these emotions, and we are completely lost at a certain point in time, because we really don't know what am I really feeling at this point in time. Because once I wear a mask, I always have the habit of the mask. I don't even know I'm wearing a mask. It becomes so stuck to my skin that I do not really know, is it me, is it my skin, or is it a mask? It's a very, very sad state. And I'm saying it because I have gone through it. Now, why did I go through it, or why do you go through it? Have you seen times when you really want to be the warrior? You want to lash out and say, I don't agree with you. But instead you tell, chalta hai, it's okay, main seh lungi. या मैं सह लूंगा, it's okay, I'll adjust. That is a mask. Adjustment is a mask. You are false because you're falsely agreeing that it's okay to adjust. But in saying it is okay to adjust, you're killing yourself. And I've said that. Which means that everything is okay, सब कुछ चलता है. और दूसरों के लिए सब कुछ चलता है, खुद के लिए then you're killing yourself, So, is it worth it? You know what? The sad answer is, it is worth it at some point in time. When you were a child, it was worth it. Because it is very difficult to be lonely. It is very difficult when you don't have somebody to speak with, be with. And because you don't want to be lonely, you do it. I'm honestly very rebellious. In my inner, I'm rebellious. I'm very free-spirited. But I do not think in my family that was okay growing up. Much those times. I cannot do anything at any time. I cannot be rebellious. If I'm rebellious, I would get it back. So what did I become? I became obedient. So I wore the beautiful mask of obedience. And what I did was, I closed or shut the rebellious, free-spirited part of me inside. But it would come up. It would come up when I least expect. Or all those people who were able to be free-spirited and rebellious, I would say, wow, you're able to do that. But actually, I was telling myself, I'm not able to do that. So, but I did not understand that it is a mask. So if you want to do something, or if you see somebody else doing it and you appreciate them, and you feel, I wish I could do it, it means that you actually are that, but you're putting on a mask for whatever reasons. But generally I've seen that with kids, when we are with our children or with younger children, we don't need to put on mask, because they just accept you the way you are. That's the beauty of it. So if it is so suffocating, if it is so difficult to wear a mask and to keep the mask all the time, then what is the gain? Yeah, the main reason why we started wearing a mask is because we wanted to avoid being lonely. We don't want to be lonely. Who likes to be in the company of a melancholic, somebody who broods all the time, somebody who's too much, into sadness? But honestly, I am a melancholic. I love to brood. I am reflective. I think about others. I think about others' worries are my worries. I'm an empath. But what I became as a mask was, I became this sanguine temperament. I became this fleety person who's happy-go-lucky, who's always smiling, who's agile, who'd say yes to everything. So I had really no boundaries at that time when I was false agreeing. Uh, it was like that. And it's taken me a journey to really say, I am who I am and I accept it. And I'm okay to be lonely, but actually, I'm not lonely. There are really many people. As a child, we think that we don't have anybody. But now we are adult, we have grown up. So, and I have realized this only when I realized when we wear a mask, what do we lose? We lose a lot. We lose touch with who am I in my core, in my being, deep inside when I was born. Who was I born as? I lose touch with my identity. That we say self and we say self identity, the real me. Because if we have to be successful, then if we take up a false identity, we will put a lot of energy to be successful. But if we stick to our true identity and then we do a particular thing, we do not have to put so much energy, and we will get rocking success. So identifying who we are in our core is important, but what we lose is that identity of who we are in our core. We of course can say, I'm so and so's daughter, I'm so and so's mother, I'm so and so a person in the job, but all of that comes at a cost. We also lose touch of what do I really need in life in terms of relationships, in terms of who do I have to choose. The whole chalta hai attitude comes. Ye bhi chalta hai, wo bhi chalta hai. If somebody asks you, do you need tea or coffee, kuch bhi chalega. So you lose your own identity, you lose your own recognition of what you really want, because you're always wearing that people pleaser mask. That mask of I'm obedient, I love people, I'll always smile when it comes to people. And we lose the consciousness of the possibility that I am a warrior. I know my need, I can fight for my rights. Instead, we take up this I am helpless and I am a victim mode. And I mean, I'm not sure, but I have worn this mask of I'm helpless and victim for ages. Yeah, until I realize that it's tiring me. I actually just have to take my instrument and stand up and fight for my right, fight for my need, know my need. So friends, I'm actually going to keep this life very, very short. If we have to live joyous, if we have to live with sense of well-being, if we have to live our ground, if we have to live happy, if we have to live without losing our energy, because energy is very, very precious. Energy is like money. Would we ever lose money? We cannot afford to lose energy also, but energy dikhta nahi hai. So if we have to conserve our energy and if we have to not lose it, then the process of removing the mask, taking this off when not needed, is very, very important. If this smiley mask converts into a mask which is angry, and if people don't like it, then it's their problem. I don't have to please everyone. I don't have to make everybody like me or like myself, because in myself I'm so beautiful. We need to hold this intention. This intention is very important. So if we want to live happy, if we want to live joyous, if we want to live aligned to who we are, to how we were born, if we want to live radiant, if we want to spread and achieve all the things that we want to achieve, then it is extremely important to unmask ourselves. It's almost like I have no choice but to remove my mask, because it's very, very tiring. You just take up something and put it on you for all the time. It's very difficult. So what are the steps to remove the mask? And all that I'm telling you is something that I have used in my life, and I'm continuously using it, because we can't even realize how many types of masks we carry. So we can never say we've done the whole job. It's a process, but the process has to begin. So what are the steps? Yeah, you have to understand that removing the mask means that willing to live authentic. You have to feel so irritated with yourself that I can't handle this dissonance, andar kuch bahar kuch anymore. I have to be truthful. I have to be truthful to myself. I don't need to please anybody. I need to be truthful to myself. And I can't tolerate being a victim and a helpless person anymore, because I have a choice. That's the first step. That intention. Ki, I cannot live dual life. I cannot live one thing in the outside and one thing in the inside, because the tension in the difference of what's inside and outside causes a ringing feeling. ऐसा feel होता है. And when you feel like this, it hurts, it pains. You may have developed a capacity to bear it, but it's not worth it, because it's energy consumed, and that energy, if you conserve, we can use it in larger tasks, to live your life purpose, to do many other things. So this is the first step. The first step is to have an intention to be authentic and to say, okay, I am not sure how I'll do it, but I want to do it. I just want to live aligned. I want to shine. I want to spread my brilliance, because I know in my core I am brilliant. Yeah. And when I work with a person and I coach somebody, they come with an issue. Definitely there is an issue. And they also come with a feeling that there is some issue with them. But I hold the image that you're perfect. There is a veil, and you have to just remove the veil, and then your inner self will shine. So you should be wanting to see that inner self, that shining, brilliant inner self, because we all have that. So the first step is intention. Second step is looking at what areas right now drain my energy. What are the activities that drain my energy? For example, are we watching too much television? Is looking at what kind of news do I watch? What kind of relationships am I engaged in? Are relationships draining me? A lot of times we have relationships which they could be inside our house or it could be outside our house, which drain us. And we take these relationships for granted because we are scared that if we let go of these relationships, I am lonely, I am alone, and I can't do without them. But the cost you pay is so much of energy is drained. The one relationship which never drains us is relationship with the cosmos, with the nature, relationship with the divine, relationship with God or the divine or whatever, that inner, that pure thing. But every other relationship we have to scrutinize. Where do I have a lot of takrar? Where do I have a lot of knots? Which relationship is draining me? It leaves me completely tired while I'm engaging with them and while I am talking to them, or even after, even if I'm not talking to them, they're always occupying my mind share. What are such relationships? The cue is, these relationships are eating you up. These relationships are draining you. And in these relationships, you are false agreeing that you are happy. You're wearing a mask that you're happy. But actually inside, you're draining. It's tearing you apart. And you're being torn inside. But in the outside, you're saying, this is wonderful. It's God's gift to me. So look at which areas of my life, relationships, activities, which work. In 2013, when I decided to quit, I quit, and now it's an afterthought, but I quit because I could not take the dissonance between waking up every day to go to work and not wanting to do that work. I was not enjoying it. I was wearing a mask that I have this great, the mask was of power. The power in my business card, the power in the salary I was earning, the power in belonging. I was a part of the Aditya Birla group. So there was a prestige associated with that. All that was false. But deep inside, I was not happy. I was not enjoying it. It's not that I knew what I wanted, but I was not enjoying that. That is a mask. And it took me a jiffy to remove that and say, I cannot do this anymore. I need to know really what I want. And I quit my job. So look at which areas of my life are draining my energy. So the first step is set an intention that I'm not going to tolerate this. Second is look at areas of my life which are draining me, draining my energy. The third step is to take action, which means drawing clear, unapologetic boundaries. I think it's most important. When you're wearing masks, you're almost saying that tum jo bolo wo mera. You don't have your own personal boundaries. Where you stop and other begins, there is no boundary. Yeah. So it's a whole topic in itself, but drawing clear boundaries, saying that my boundary to myself is that, or my commitment to myself is that I will take care of myself. I will take care of what do I really feel at this point in time, and I will assert my boundaries. So just having the intention is not enough. You need to take action. And when you take action, you have to set certain boundaries. You have to create a fence around you. That fence will ensure which energies can come in and which energies will stay away. When you do not allow the energies which take away your energy outside, when you don't allow these energies, you have only your energy to manage. And that's easy. You can conserve it, you can nurture it, you can further it, you can do a lot with that. Yeah. So this is the third step. Make an intention. Look at which energies and what activities are draining you. Draw clear boundaries and take actions. And the fourth step, when you have never done all of this and suddenly you do it, you will feel very lonely. There'll be a void. Yeah. This is a great time to look at who are you in your core. When I was born, how was I? What was my deep pure self? And if you know what is that deep pure self, then identify that and act in accordance with that deep pure self. So when you act in accordance with that, you don't have to worry about how to manage others' energy. You will just manifest what you are truly born to manifest. And that's when, it's a feeling of living joyous. You'll experience a state of flow. You don't have to worry what is going to happen to others. You wake up, you are connected with what is important to you, and you will live joyous, authentic, with no dissonance. Isn't it beautiful? If I had this opportunity to live pure, happy, joyous, and in connection, and this doesn't mean I don't focus on what I have to do. I can still focus on what I have to do. I can still be successful. But it is not at the cost of having dissonance inside. I can be free, joyous, and still be a great professional, still do great work outside. And that's the secret really of happy and beautiful and peaceful and joyous living. If we had this option, wouldn't we choose it? That's exactly the choice I have made. And I'm very clear that I'm not going back to a time where I will wear a mask, because I have now tasted what it feels like to not have a mask. And that's the life I want to lead. Are you willing to do that? Yeah. So please follow these 4 aspects, and that's all you need to do to live happy. So next week, I will come with a guest and we will focus on the same topic, the masks we wear. And that time we'll be in a conversation with somebody. So just wait for me next week, and we'll show up, and we'll stay tuned to the announcement that I'll be putting up. Thank you. Have a great evening.